The Terrorblade that we've talked about, Faceless playing so much. Warlock kind of like an unsung hero against Terrorblade lineups through the Fatal Bonds on all the illusions. Fatal Bonds and then drop the rock on Terrorblade, he just vanishes.
You watched the earlier series, right? What did you think about the Darkseer pickup?
It was good. We really liked it up here.
Yeah,
super strong.
Yeah, I really liked it as well. It was just surprising that we have not seen.
I talked about it being good against Silencer because you go Guardian Greaves.
Yeah, I like that part as well. It's like a very team fight meta, but Darkseer just doesn't seem to be getting that love because he's not an initiator, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think compared to other team fighters, he's inferior, but in that game against Silencer, it was good.
Served a specific purpose, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. So we got Ember Spirit up against the Lifestealer Warlock. Ember Spirit is actually a pretty good hero against Lifestealer just because he's so mobile. And he also against Warlock. Warlock doesn't really have any hard lockdown to deal with Ember Spirit, and Ember Spirit's also a great hero at kind of splitting up the map and split pushing, which is something that Warlock also really struggles with. Warlock lineups oftentimes just want to kind of do that like 5-on-5 team fight whenever his ultimate's up, and Ember Spirit can put some pressure on other lanes and potentially split up EGs, so they're not allowed to do that.
I even like it for the laning. Ember or Spirit combo is so good at pressuring a lot of heroes mid. There's like always the threat that you'll be searing chains into death kind of a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
A bad in band.
Ooh, EG fans. Paul, what does that mean?
It means he loves them.
All right, cool. Yeah, I feel like he would.
Safe call, Paul.
I feel like he wouldn't. That'd be crazy if he had these signs and he was just like flaming EGs, like Sumail sucks. That's his sign.
Yeah, that's a Sumail.
What does it mean? What does it mean?
I don't know, but the Chinese fans are going crazy.
What are these? What are they?
It says Sumail bite me.
I was talking to somebody the other day. How cool would it be if I just spoke fluent Chinese? Like, wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah, that would.
It's the language to know right now.
Man, being American's lame. You only know one language. A little bit of Spanish. Un poco.
Yeah, that's where I am.
It's not too many vehicles for Lifestealer in the forward position anymore, so.
Oh, yeah, let's see what we got.
You kind of down with Centaur?
I think it's still
I don't know, Peter. You better hurry.
Magnus?
Oh, we're doing picks. Oh, I still like Invoker or Lina. I don't know. This is a tough pick.
All right, Invoker and Lina for your mids. What about
So what's
support
Centaur
or
and
offlane?
Magnus are both in the pool.
Yeah.
You know what? I feel like maybe I built myself up too much for this. I'm not sure. I'm totally ready.
Peter was like, "Ooh, I got this, guys."
They threw me off with the Warlock pick. I was certain that it was going to be an Invoker pick.
EG protecting their draft against Faceless and Peter, I guess.
Yeah.
Who knew they were fighting two enemies?
They have a lot of choices. Like, they only see one support, so I think it's unlikely that they would take their second support unless it's a really safe hero. Most likely, yeah, okay, cool.
Oh, you're just one off, that's all.
All right,
There it was.
two more to go.
I mean, it's very good against Ember Spirit.
Man.
You can remove the fire shield, whatever it's called. Sumail's good at the hero, I think, pretty sure. He's definitely pressurable mid. That's maybe a scary part. So EG's going to have to get another roaming hero, maybe. And they're like all gone.
Yeah, they'll get something for Zai.
Tusk.
Tusk is
That's
Tusk
actually a
is
good
definitely an
game.
option.
They would have lockdown problems against
Although-
Ember late game.
A crit Tusk?
Yeah, Crit would play the Tusk, I think. I think when Zai plays Tusk, I don't know if people ever watch his stream, but when you see Zai play Tusk, he generally averages about 17 to 24 deaths.
I think this is the second time you said this on panel. You're really,
Yeah.
really.
He just doesn't get. He just, you know.
I feel like that's his tilt. When he's tilted, he's just like, I'm gonna just pick
thing is-
Tusk and I'm gonna run at him.
Yeah, Zai does. Zai does tilt.
I've got that before. I'm like, oh, Zai picked Tusk. That's
Everyone's
really
like-
cool. I
everyone's
can't wait for this game. Hope he carries me. Feed. I'm like, what's happening? My MMO.
Just watching his stream, he dies for the 18th time. He's like, oh well.
You know,
That's exactly what
have,
he said. I'll hear him in game. Oh well, guys.
Yeah.
I tried.
I think all the clips I've seen of Zai from Twitch clips are all him playing Tusk. The one was Monkey King like two-shot him, and the other one was he was playing that like nature like BBC
the penguin
audio
documentary?
with about him like a penguin
Or the
dying
walrus,
or something.
yeah.
And as he died, it was they
I
just
missed
keep
that
popping
one.
up. That one was good.
Oh
it was
wait, pick.
beautifully synced.
Both supports are picked. They're gonna go for their other support. I think Tusk is fine, but I'm not sure.
I think they need maybe more lockdown, but then their roaming is maybe weak. It's good against CM.
I would guess Tusk. I think that's my guess. Or, yeah. CM. Okay. CM's not very good against Nakes or Warlock or Invoker, but he is like a nice kind of mana battery for Ember Spirit and Earth Spirit.
What about just like Centaur still in? Maybe.
Kunkka. All right.
Okay.
A little more team fight. It's decent catch for Ember Spirit. Lots of team fight now for EG though. Definitely a team fight advantage with Warlock and Kunkka.
It solves like all of their catch problems basically.
Well, Ember Spirit can still work around it, right?
I guess so. It'll cost him 2 remnants, right? If he jumps the first. I think that's more than good though.
If you time it right on Kunkka, like if he's not like sleight of fisting or remnanting during when you pull the X back, you can kind of hit him with the torrent pretty reliably. It's like there's like a little window, but it's not a bad tool. Ooh, Clinks. Ooh, that hero's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought there was going to be like Weaver or something, but maybe they just felt like
they needed a Lifestealer solution.
Weaver would have been great.
They needed a Lifestealer solution, and
isn't that Weaver?
Yeah, that should have been.
We've seen Clinks in the group stage.
I mean,
particularly effective, was it?
Maybe it was just the Kunkka that they felt like Weaver's just too limited, but
that's true. I mean, Kunkka's definitely a pretty decent tool against Weaver. Clinks just kind of wants to stand and fight. He can get an early BKB.
All right, Peter.
No, I get to see Faceless this last pick.
Yeah, I know that.
So Faceless is going to pick their Ice hero.
You can get your mistake back. I'm saying if you get, oh damn it, I was gonna have you predict their deny.
I'm 2 for 4. So you said I have to get 3 right? That was the test.
He said 4.
I said 4, but
we'll give you 3.
Yeah, sure, 3. 3 is fine.
There's always
Kunkka's a similar hero, sure. There's always game 2.
First game of the day. What can you do?
The mantra of EG.
Yeah.
So this is offlane hero ban. Kunkka's going to be their Sunstrike setup right now, but maybe they could use another one. Centaur would be good for that. It's a pretty good team fight.
EG probably wants. Oh yeah, there's a Bat Rider. I would say Centaur right now for Faceless. It's a good like banning Bat and then going Centaur. Pretty smart. Bat's a hero that does relatively well against Centaur. Or definitely just super well versus Centaur in lane.
Does that just leave EG Mag? I don't think there's...
Mag's a good option. I would say, yeah, probably Mag or Centaur for EG.
That could be cool. They could make Kunkka semi-core too, if they really wanted to. I don't know if they will, but probably not.
I mean, I think it is pretty important to have your support scale out.
And Ice is pitching for a hero right now. It's got to be a crazy one. What's the craziest?
Clockwork.
Yeah, what's the craziest?
That's not a hero in Dota.
He's trying to convince Black to play offlane, I think, right now.
Yeah.
Ooh, Agnes. Okay, so I think that's almost like a deny pick.
Block, yeah.
And I mean, it works well with Ember.
Yeah.
It's not terrible.
I thought maybe they wouldn't go it because they had Clinks, but.
Yeah, I kind of like it. I feel like Clinks will be decent against Lifestealer. They just needed a setup stun, or Spirit was not enough disable. I think it fits their lineup well. And Crystal Maiden mana, it's going to be great for Mag.
Mag Kunkka combo would have been nice for EG. But I think Centaur is a fine option. They could also go... all right, I was going to say Sand King, but Axe works too. So I failed on the draft, but it's all good. Which lineup do you guys like?
Well, I think it's safe to pick EG regardless of what heroes got picked. So I'm going to go with EG. And I do like their draft better, though.
Let's pretend the team plates are gone.
I like the Axe pickup. I think it's a pretty rare Axe game. I don't really like the Clinks very much.
I agree.
So
I don't have faith against that hero.
EG.
He's going to need BKB just to avoid Kunkka X, basically.
Yeah.
And when you're forced on that path, it just sucks for Clinks.
Yeah, it's Clinks you want to be able to build that snowball, right? Deso.
Is there any point in
EG.
asking? Yeah. So you're all going to go EG?
Yeah, EG.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that's your cue, Paul. Go Faceless!
I don't know. The lucky part about being the host is you don't have to give predictions. Instead, the experts do. They've all gone for Evil Geniuses. Let's find out how game 1 goes for them as we head downstairs and go game side with Odie Pixel.
Thank you very much, Paul. Indeed. EG versus Faceless, best of 3 here in the lower bracket. We've just seen the 2 drafts coming through. Exciting ends to both of them. Universe Axe coming out for EG. Ice getting that Magnus. And as the panel mentioned, I mean, we kind of got to the 5th pick, Gods, and we're like, hang on, there's a Magnus still in the pool. Yeah. I think both teams would have loved to grab their hands on it.
Yeah. It's a possible block pick and something that pulls together both drafts really nicely. Kind of the Empower Nice for the Ember or the Lifestealer, but just having that team fight, that big initiator is going to be key in a game like this, enabling heroes like the Clinks. And Clinks perhaps the most interesting pick. A hero Black has played quite a bit of, definitely like in his hero pool, like along with heroes like Slark, Anti-Mage. And how effective this Clinks can be is going to be a very decisive factor in this game.
I mean, yeah, we heard from the panel a lot of doubts regarding the Clinks. I mean, well, why is that? Why is Clinks not seem to be the hero to have as your carry at the moment?
It's got a weak laning stage, so he can be pressured a lot early on. And even if he has a good early game stage, if he gets caught roaming around with sentries, he can be very ineffective. So you've got to be very clever with where you roam. Make sure you're not running the sentries. Heroes like Axe can be very good against him. The Blade Mail Blink can just turn Clinks' damage against him. It's a very good catch. Kunkka can be a good catch. So it's a hero that struggles a lot against disables and kind of hits his strong timing. It's similar to like the PA or something where you get Deso and BKB, then you're quite strong. But you've got to get those 2 items at a pretty decent time.
And talking about catch, you know, on EG's lineup, Zai on that Kunkka, as you mentioned, Universe on the Axe. Between the 2 of them, they are going to have to do a lot in terms of enabling the combos to come out from the rest of EG. Is it enough, do you feel, against the high mobility of a lot of Faceless' heroes?
Yeah, it should be pretty good. I guess we'll see how it works as far as like once we get to the more 5-man stage, because that's where you've got Warlock Rock, you've got like really good team fight on EG's side. But if Faceless can land an RP, they've got Earth Spirit spells to follow up. And I feel like Earth Spirit's one of those heroes where you can look at a team and be like, oh, they've got the weaker team fight. But if Earth Spirit gets a well-timed silence stun, if he stops a Warlock Rock coming out, this is the kind of hero that can be the X factor. And we've seen XY himself be very influential on this hero.
Absolutely. First pick material for Faceless in pretty much most games where it's allowed to them. As we see from the runes, top rune, EG will be able to secure that as well. So grabbing 3, down bottom, Ice and Arteezy having a bit of fun.
Oh, very close.
And in fact, Ice bringing Arteezy along with him.
He tried to clip him there. He was very close to achieving it too. I don't know if Arteezy quite realized what Ice was doing there, but the max range on it was just not quite enough to get him onto that cliff. They're going to give Arteezy the 1v1. This is totally fine. Lifestealer, one of the reasons to pick Lifestealer and why he's such a strong hero is because he can handle these 1v1 matchups and free up the supports to help other lanes. And we're going to see that at mid with the Kunkka and at top with the Warlock initially. Not sure whether Warlock's going to hang around. He's likely going to fall back and stack some jungle camps.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of movements we have coming out from XY on the spread as well at the moment. Just looking to maintain that pull up on the top lane, keeping Black nice and safe. But overall, these lanes, do you feel that there is someone with lead? You already mentioned that Clink's a hero that can struggle in the laning stage. Elsewhere, are things continuing to look better for EG in these early lanes? Yeah,
it's a stronger laning setup for EG. The Lifestealer wins 1v1 against Magnus. Typically, I'd say, oh, Ice, he loves a 1v1 matchup. This is where he's the kind of player who can excel, but Arteezy, as far as 1v1 matchups go, another player who we saw in the 1v1 tournament, fantastic.
Oh, top XY could be in trouble. He's trying to get away so he can roll out. Battle Hunger ticking him down though. Universe with the chase down. It should be a first blood, and indeed it is. Universe will claim it. He says no chaosing today, Samael. And EG as well, also able to heavily harass Blackback. With this Shadow Word, he's going to fall pretty low. Universe won't go hunting too deep in the tree line. Already rough. The strong lanes that you talked about coming into play.
Yeah, Nuts is trying to chase down Zai, but he's... Oh, might get this kill if he can land the roll.
Zai with the juke. Yeah. To the side. XY won't be able to find it.
Saw it coming, had the ward, and also the day vision, I think, was going to be enough in itself. So nicely done. Love the early Battle Hunger point. Not really the conventional Axe thing to do, and like if you're just off lane or jungling, but given that you've got a tri-lane up there and you need like a good gap close, it actually slows movement speed. Oh, Ice reads the Sunstroke coming in, but yeah, just slowing your opponents and also just having damage output for a melee hero onto heroes that are running away, proving to be the difference there in getting a first blood. Very good start for EG. Mid lane is being handled just fine by Jabs so far. And the fact you've thrown 2 Sunstrikes means there's very low mana on Invoker, who is getting rolled on, but just some harass.
And that bottom lane, as you mentioned, both heroes finding farm. Neither in too much danger in this 1v1. 9 for 4, 9 for 2 between the 2 of them.
Yeah, Ice has used his Shrine now. That's kind of where these off-lane 1v1s often, like, safe lane with a good matchup would be fine, but is perhaps not as quite as one-sided now that offlaners get the Shrine.
In fact, with the wraparound from Zai, Ice could be in trouble. Initial Torrent isn't going to hit. Ice still has the skewer to play his way out of this one. In fact, he's trying to man up, but that's now cost him as he's been X-marked back. RTZ should have the damage as Ice tries to get away. Isn't going to make it. And Ice, I mean, you saw him manning up there. I guess just as, it didn't count for the fact that that X-mark was available from Zai.
Probably knows that the X, if he tries to skewer away, he's going to get X back anyway. So he's thinking, I may as well just hold my ground and fight, hope they back off and wait for the last second to use the skewer away, which almost works. If Arteezy doesn't block him there, it does in fact perhaps get him away. Seeing the top lane, not the easiest lane for Klinks. He's got CS and all, but he's had to use a lot of regen in this lane.
I'm going to try for this kill. XY has the boulder smash, and Universe will be taken down. The Shadow Word heal from Crit, not enough to save him. Yeah. And yeah, no way to hold back that TP, so Crit gets out. Faceless getting themselves on the board.
Yep. Good start for Faceless to secure that safe lane. Feels very important that they get Klinks good early farm and don't let Universe do too much in that off lane. So they are doing a dedicated trial, and we're seeing some rolls towards the mid lane, but very quickly XY return top. I think recognizing that if Klink doesn't get support in lane, they're going to be in trouble. Not to mention this Axe is probably one of the more reliable kills to go for. You're not going to kill the Invoker unless he pushes up really far in lane.
See on the top lane again, Zai with the Invis rune. Maybe seeing if they can set something up onto Black. Universe and Crit in position to get ready to dive. Zai trying to close in, but will reveal himself under the tower. They know what's up. EG nonetheless just using this to put some pressure in on the tier 1. And keeping Black on his toes. Mid lane jabs. It's going to get caught by the Sunstrike. Top lane, the plays being made here by EG as they close in onto Nuts. And it looks like there'll be no escape for the Crystal Maiden. TP reactions will come through from Faces. XY looking to set up onto Universe with the first roll. Has to be careful with Zai still in the neighborhood. And these spins bringing XY down low. Black looked towards Crit but didn't have the damage to bring down the Warlock. So EG once again getting away with a kill on this top lane and forcing rotations.
Yeah, the support kill is fine in itself. It's just meaning that Axe gets at least a decent laning stage. Does look like Universe is going to go into the Vanguard first. Perhaps going to opt to just farm up the jungle. Like he may just decide, okay, I've done enough to contest the Klinks' farm. Time to focus on my own farm a bit. As the 3-man shrine will likely lead to them to continue at least some amount of pressure additionally on that lane. Definitely with an Invoker in your team, you want to try and bully the lanes as much as possible since you can set up those Sunstrike kills.
Mid lane. EG once again getting in close and personal. This time Faces want to hit back. Nice boulder smash onto 2.
Yeah.
Zai falling low. The Shadow Word heal will keep him A-OK, and Faces again. Just not enough firepower to really fight into this 3-man.
A wild Searing Chains into thin air. Jab's got the early point in Slight, trying to use that for the Searing Chains, but it's got a very short cast range, so he just slightly probably pushed the Sleight of Fist button, but it didn't actually go off because he wasn't in range to use it and then messed up the combo. Level 1 Searing Chain's pretty lackluster. So as a result, they missed that kill. Not the end of the world getting the early Sleight of Fist point, but it does seem like they're going to give mid lane elsewhere.
Oh. Realizing he was low, they hit the scan and somehow does go for a bit of an attempt.
Pretty heads-up play.
3-1 to EG at the moment. CS is certainly still there though for the members of Faceless. Ice continuing to get a lot from this bottom lane.
Yep.
As RTZ doing his best to zone out the Magnus.
It's going to be a very farm-oriented game, it looks like. I mean, PPD mentioned on the panel, the EG players really liking to buy their Midas. We're going to see another Midas rush from TZ in the safe lane. Very likely even see some support Midases. Heroes like Kunkka Warlock can easily get away with Midas purchases if they want to. Maybe not both, but one definitely getting Midas on one of your supports is fine, while the other perhaps goes for the utility item. But as it stands, Universe not rushing a Blink suggests a slower pace of game from EG. They've done well to win the lanes, have strong laning setup, and often you see teams try and back up a strong lane setup with taking towers objectives. EG have always been a team that prioritizes farming and just farming efficiency, using all the resources on the map to try and starve their opponents, and that's going to be much more the approach here. Win the lanes and use that to play greedy, rather than win the lanes to take objectives.
Swipe, and the vision control back here for the side around that mid lane. A lot of movement was happening around there a couple of minutes ago. Now back towards the bottom, Zai having eyes onto Ice, but as soon as he gets a glimpse of him, he gets himself back out to safety with the skewer. And will, of course, be looking for that Blink Dagger. And we'll see what kind of a timing he can get on it. Obviously, with the opening that he's had, it could be some good, a good pace for Ice to hit if he can clear up these camps in safety and not have to worry too much about EG coming that deep across that bit of the map.
Warlock off a bit too far, perhaps, crit.
It's the level 2 Shadow Word heal. Is it going to be enough to keep him alive? No, it's not indeed. The Boulder Smash flying through. They'll lose crit. EG are going to look to react. They've got the lockdown off the CM. Torrent are holding back XY and slowing him down for the time being as well with a follow-up X mark. Can they get themselves anything more? And it doesn't look like they can. EG will hold back, at least finding something in return for losing the Warlock.
Yep. Not really, the win Faceless were hoping for with the free support kill. Will slow down Warlock's level 6, but ultimately doesn't help Faceless that much. Right now, Faceless are being beat at the farming, the greed game, and that's something they're going to have to address. You see the top 3 heroes in terms of net worth are on EG's side. Not a huge margin, but when you're pre-10 minutes, effectively winning all 3 lanes is a big deal, even if it is by a small margin. So Faceless, the response to this normally comes from like mid-game smoke rotations, but it's not going to be the fast, it's still a decent time blink, but they don't have a blink yet. So they can't address it in terms of Ice until he has a blink. Perhaps the response is going to come from Ember. Ember's a hero who can smoke rotate. He's got the gap closed from the Fire Remnant, so if they want to try and contest EG's farm right now, it's got to come from jabs. But alternatively, they may just say, look, we're slightly behind. We're going to stay behind until we get this Magnus blink. So Faceless kind of have 2 options here. Set the tempo, get Ember active, or just play from behind with the Magnus blink.
And they have started stacking those Ancients up, of course, as well here on Faceless as half of the map. To get Ice that cash boost when he's able to take it. I imagine they will allow him to get the gold from that camp, do you think? Or do they give it to like the Ember once they empower him up?
Probably the cause. He can't really farm it by himself.
True, yeah. No,
even with max in power, he hasn't gone like a Treads build. Treads Echo Saber he perhaps could, but with his build he's not farming Ancients. He'll have a Blink Dagger, but by the time they even go for like the Ancient stack, so at that point your Magnus's Blink, you'd rather give farm to the Ember or the Clinks. Just kind of efficiency, just stack it. Someone will farm it eventually, If you're walking by the area and you have a chance to stack, you may as well do it.
Hopefully for Faceless, not Universe on the Axe, because he's halfway towards his blink, and when he starts to move around the map, if they get wind of it, EG would love to take that bit of a kind of storage of cash away from Faceless.
May incentivize like some early EG aggression around this bottom lane, but I think EG's timing is going to come from like the Blink Axe. That's where, at that point, our TZ should have perhaps Midas Armlet with even just like a Midas Phase. Even Midas Phase, he can still do some early rotations, but we'll see what the call is going to be.
Crit continuing to find his way towards that level 6.
Yep. He doesn't mind if he gets ganked. If you get 3-man ganked as a Warlock, Sing in the offlane as a 5-position player, it's not the end of the world. Playing 5-position support is often not very flashy. Often you put yourself in these spots where you know you're going to die.
Mid lane, Samel being gone on a quick tornado to hold back jabs and Nuts. Now the turnaround as Universe turning up. They have the X marks onto the Crystal Maiden. They'll bring Nuts back. They'll take the CM. The rest will manage to get themselves away. And to go for a Sunstrike onto Jabs. Jabs will be able to walk it off.
EG responding very well to every bit of aggression. Like, while they are playing the passive farm game, they're also accepting that they can fight if they're around their towers. They can play the numbers game, which is Faceless going for a 3-man gank, we fight them.
Mid lane again, they
Nice
do manage to
dodge.
get Jabs with the X-Mark to deep, but the Torrent combo not able to lock him down now. XY with the Magnetize and the Boulder Smash onto Zai. They'll find the Kunkka. Jabs still stuck in the middle of it all with the Cold Snap, but the Sunstrike, he's out. Samael able to turn around and outplay the Ember. A big kill there for EG. I do not mind losing Zai for that at all.
That was nicely placed with the Sunstrike there. Sumail's good start continues. Only behind our TZ, and that's largely due to this Midas pickup as Lifesteal continues just to free farm away in the safe lane. We're seeing EG have a very different approach to most teams with their drafts and just overall game understanding of the patch right now. A lot of Midases, a lot of greed. Strong lanes into greed is kind of the philosophy, at least from what we're seeing in the main stage games so far from EG. Their best of 1 against Wings, and here in game 1 of their best of 3. We'll see now the Ancients being attempted.
I'll see they get the goal, Jeff.
Whoever gets it is kind of the motif,
would love to get a bit of it. I mean, he's so close to that blink.
Yeah,
1800.
for sure.
Looks like
Believe it.
letting Jabs get the majority. As Jabs, again, we saw him do this yesterday, I believe, and the best of one when he was playing the Ember, going for the boots of travel first before the Veil in pretty much most of his games.
The TP increased cooldowns, making Boots of Travel a better item in comparison, and heroes like Klinks want to rotate and get active on the map, and that's where if he rotates bottom, you want your Ember farming, pushing out a lane, and then TPing in for a team fight. So the early Boots of Travel allow you to play more aggressive in certain ways. Like you can be greedy while being involved in the fights. Oh, this is such a fast Blink Vanguard for Universe, so that's, to me, going to be the big problem. With a Blink Dagger up, this enables the Lifestealer so much to start finding pickups, but both Blinks come at the same time, so...
Which is going to be more effective.
Yeah. I mean,
absolutely perfect as well, the timing there.
I mean, Faceless have good damage to back up their Blink. Both Klinks and Ember are ready to start getting involved. Klinks hasn't got much in the way of items, but he's a Klinks. He death packs a creep, he gets a lot of damage. All you need is Strafe to dish out damage at this point, so it doesn't need like the Deso quite yet. For EG, Axe Blink, so...
And they found Arteezy at Faceless with a massive pick-off. As Arteezy was looking to close into that armlet, which is a pretty crucial bit of the plays that EG want to make with this Blink Dagger on Axe.
They know the Blink is up, so that's key as well. Axe synergizes very well with the, I mean, both Lifestealer, but I'd say even more so in some ways with the Invoker, because Invoker just wants to sit around, farm very passively, play for the late game. This hero peaks around level 18, 19, 20 when he has, like, Axe plus more. And he's great at just throwing Sunstrike. Axe goes for a Blink Call Gank, you throw a Sunstrike,
and that was
Invoker gets
beautiful.
involved.
We saw, you know, Ice cutting his way around the tree line, finds the Warlock, just jumps, skewers him back into the hands of his team.
They're finding these pickoffs through some nice clutch plays, the deep ward, the Klink scouting. This is the danger of a hero like Klink, is he can get very deep in your woods, and the circle's being drawn in the Radiant jungle. At this point, EG have to recognize that their own bottom side of the map is not safe. This is largely what happened in the Liquid Faceless game as well. You just got to give up that area of control, play in the top and the mid side of the map more, and start being the aggressors yourself. Like, the farming efficiency game has worked so far. They're still looking good in terms of net worth on their cores, but they've got to now use that farm on the Lifesteal of the Axe.
See if Faceless, I mean, maybe even making it, if they can make a move over to the Radiant jungle again. It's actually top lane where Universe gets the jump, locked down and control for Samael to land the strike on the CM.
It's the combo. Axe doesn't even need a Lifestealer with him for some of these squishier targets.
Mid lane Jabs with a quick reaction, just making sure that Zai can't get that initial X marked.
Ice will keep trying to push his hero to the limits at bottom. He wants to drag enemy heroes to the bottom lane, and with the good vision, I think he realizes EG are unlikely to commit too many heroes down here. The EG don't really want to team fight in the bottom side of the map because of the Faceless vision in that area.
EG just looking to finish off this tier 1. Arteezy does now have a completed armlet. So they have that synergy, that combination that they can pull off. Tower will fall, but Faceless remaining on this bottom lane as he's head Ice. No plans of leaving until he gets the full reaction that he's waiting for.
If EG want to defend it, they need to make sure they bring numbers. Like, they can't just have like a lone Axe head down to defend it. It's very likely he can get picked off. He gets scouted out by someone like a Klinks. The Earth Spirit stuns, silences him, he goes down. So you really need like multiple heroes to clear out that bottom jungle. But now they've de-warded, so they got the Sentry on that cliff. Taking out Faceless's ward makes a much riskier place for them to be. Fighting away from your vision is not something you really want to do at this stage of the game.
Well, to add to EG's team fight, they do now have Aghanims complete, so Samael, of course, making very quick timing top. There's the combo, but the Sleight of Fist dodges there.
Everything.
And Jabs, he should be fine here. Wait out the X behind. Actually gone a little early. Has the second one. Black is there to help out. And in fact, it looks like Zai's going to be the one in trouble. The Torrent will catch out the Ember. Jabs getting very low, but this, again, just the amount of time that Jabs kept them working on him, buying that space and time for Faceless to make the reaction, worked out, and they'll go for the base Sunstrike. It's not going to connect. Faceless again, coming out on top of these little plays.
Yeah, those are the kind of plays Jabs is going to need to make this game. Like, the Kunkka versus Ember matchup is going to be very, very interesting to watch. I mean, right now, both teams have got their cores farmed. It looks like we're going to head into the late game stage. Midases are being bought. Neither team is really putting a huge emphasis on taking a ton of objectives or forcing any kind of 5-man death ball. There's objectives being taken here and there, but it's just tier 1. So looking at this game going late game, Kunkka being able to catch the Ember is going to be a key factor for EG, and vice versa. Jabs not getting caught, dodging that torrent, dodging that boat is going to be a very key factor for them in terms of turning these ganks around.
7-6. EG still with the 2 top lead farmers.
Yeah, that's definitely a good sign for them. Do you see as you kind of trickle down, things looking a little bit okay and better for Faceless in terms of the support? A lot of net worth on the Earth Spirit compared to like what the Kunkka has, for example.
Definitely the biggest deficiency is Black's position.
Yes.
He needs to do a bit of catching up here on this Clinks, as he is starting to look less and less like the position 1 that Faceless need this game.
And that's been a limiting factor in their ability to take objectives, find pickoffs. Like that Deso timing for Clinks is where you can kill Hero so incredibly easy, but he's going to get it not at the best time. He's kind of too late to force objectives. Axe is out-farming him, and Axe is a very dangerous hero to play into as a Clinks with that Blade Mail Sunstrike out of call. So looks like EG going to get themselves in the Roach Pit, and no response.
EG have scanned around the shrine just to see if a response comes through.
That was a Dire scan, I believe.
Oh, yeah, it was as well, you're right. So Dire more worried about the invasion of their own jungle.
Yep, there's a Radiant Ward there protecting this Roche, and does look like Faceless being caught somewhat unawares. But at this point, with all the heroes missing, you might suspect it, but imagine EG feel pretty confident with Roche.
There was a ping from Ice coming out just at the end. But absolutely, EG continuing to find the objectives and keep the overall kind of momentum continuing to flow their way.
Good setup. You know, you get that ward protecting Roche, you get 2 sentries down to make sure that Faceless themselves have no eyes on the Roche area, and you're like, well, let's get in here. By the time we realize it, by the time they realize, it's too late for them to do anything about it, since they don't see you going into the pit itself.
Again,
got that bot tier 2 tower. It's been a slow, steady job working away at that one. It was the creeps that got it in the end, but ultimately not an objective EG even cared or really attempted to defend at any point. They sent like a Warlock down there at some point just to get some CS and XP, but it wasn't really EG's heart, wasn't it? They didn't care about that tower.
XY hiding in the trees. Zai loves the dust, isn't going to find him, and they will actually lose Universe by the looks of it. Can Zai do anything in response? Has the Torrent, the X mark as well. Samael coming across to join as well, but Ice there with the 2-man RP. It's looking to save Black. They don't have any follow-up on Faces. They're just trying to get Black out of there, but he's not going to make it with the Shadow Word on him. He's out and down. Ice in trouble now as well, as Samael drops the Tornado and the Meatball, cleans up a second. They may have lost Universe, but this time it's EG with the quick reactions to make sure that Faceless pay heavily for that movement.
They're just responding to the aggression always very well with numbers in force. Like, they don't even... That RP was great. Like, it stopped the Torrent from landing. He caught the Kunkka, so Kunkka couldn't get the X Torrent on Clinks, but it didn't matter because Kunkka misses his Torrent. Well, hey, Warlock's also there. He's got a rock. That's even better. So all it takes from EG is to just... Anytime Faceless gets aggressive on their side of the map, Faceless gets the initial pick. They have the Clinks vision. They have the Earth Spirit roll in with the stun silence. They're going to get the kill, but EG make sure they're getting 1, 2, 3 kills in return every single time. And that's just a continuous trend we're seeing. If Faceless want to make those moves, the second they find that pick with 2 or 3 heroes, their 4th and 5th hero have to rotate in so fast. And the problem is, you're not fighting near the creep waves. Jabs can't actually get there. There was nothing really to boots or travel to. So without Ember Spirit there, you don't have any way of dealing with EG 5-manning you.
Especially with this Desolator now on Arteezy. He's getting even scarier for Faceless. They really need to find that team fight. They need to be able to get Black involved in one of these successful rotations, as it's costing them time and it's costing them money.
See how important the mobility is this game. Talking about Jabs being unable to get to like fights in that area. Well, he buys a Blink. He wants to try and add some extra mobility for his team. Be a hero to kind of initiate and start fights. Blink in, use your spells, Remnant away before you get caught by something like an X. And here's Faceless once again going the aggressive.
The ward there, they do see movement around that mid lane. Hey, RP, what are we looking like for Ice? How soon till we've got that back? 6
Soon
seconds.
Enough, yeah.
Can he do something big?
Smoke on smoke.
So grouped up. They can find the jump. They're on the high ground here, Faceless, but they're already trying to get themselves the hell away from EG. And in fact, TP's out.
They don't want to fight into the Aegis.
Yeah, they want to get out of there. Nuts will try and hide in the tree line. It looks like he'll be the one left as the sacrifice, as the rest of Faceless just separate. And still, there's 2 members still around in the neighborhood. Ice hiding in the tree line. His TP's still on cooldown. Jabs will be able to remnant away, and Ice should be fine as he hides in the tree. And indeed, we'll TP over to the shrine.
Yep.
Actually see
TP
Crit,
to the wall.
Crit just manning up here, leading across into the enemy territory.
I think it was trying to get, it's trying to get a ward down. Does end up planning it afterwards, but on a solo warding mission, happens to scout the shrine TP, but again, Aegis is not something that Faceless want to fight into. They were hoping to find like a quick pick-off, but the second they realize EG smoking at them is 5, they're like, oh wait, this is not a pick-off on like a Lifestealer or an Axe or someone. This is going to be EG's full-on 5-man force, and they can't engage the Lifestealer. He's infested, so if you want to fight EG as a 5-man, you perhaps like with a engage onto the Lifestealer where you blow him up before he uses Rage or any spells could work, but definitely not the approach we saw just there. And I think, well, good call from Faceless just to get the hell out. That was going to be a fight that went pretty ugly.
Oh dear, XY comes across, but that ward gives them the vision. EG see his exact movements and take him out. And it is starting to look a bit rocky for Faceless. They're still yet to find that action that they need to really swing this one back in their favor, as EG finding objectives, finding farm, and really forcing Faceless to play their game at the moment.
Yeah, Invoker's getting very scary, level 18, and this deep ward finds the Magnus.
And that
Great
is,
pick.
yeah, 50 seconds with no initiation as such as the amount that they require. They need that RP to pull big things off.
Spin X.
Zai with the setup, going to be able to land the combo, and not quite. Jabs with the chains, just to make it a little harder for Zai to get that animation out.
Nicely played, Creeps given the waves. Now the Invoker's Aegis has expired, but Faceless will still have to wait for their Magnus to respawn, so may still see another tower go down. EG really doing a good job forcing fights, using that smoke when they had the Aegis still, and then when they don't find the big kills just to CM, they say, well, let's just take these 2 towers at bottom, so they get multiple objectives, a CM pick off, likely to get this tier 2 mid, unless Faceless have something big in response to this. Black will struggle to fight until he has BKB still. Really needs it against the Kunkka and the Invoker.
And with these objectives, the farm of EG's cause getting very, very nice there for Arteezy and Sumail, of course, in particular. 15,000, a clear 5K, nearly above that of Jabs. And overall, as we can see, the net worth starting to take a bit of a sharp turn for the worse for Faceless.
Yeah, they were kind of keeping tabs, keeping close at least, until that Aegis push led to like multiple towers. Like, you got 3 towers and a CM kill. Up until then, it was like, yeah, EG, they're winning the farm, the greed game, but Faceless aren't getting blown away. No, they're still not getting blown away. They've got options now with the Aegis taken away. They're gonna, they de-warded the Observer ward by their base as well, near the tier 3 tower. So they've just taken out 2 wards. They've denied a lot of important, crucial EG vision, and Aegis has expired. This is like a good time for Faceless to try and take some pickoffs and get something done. They don't want to let EG go back to farming and wait out for another Aegis.
Oh, we saw there as well. Jabs doing his best to push the lanes out. Universe will be working towards the Shadow Blade, though. And that is going to make Jab's life a lot harder when it comes to playing around the catch potential of EG.
Next is the Shadow Blade himself. See if that can lead to much. They've taken up posts in EG's jungle, probably knowing that Radiant Vision around this area is unlikely. There was a lot of wards thrown down deep on the Faceless side when EG were being the aggressors, but EG can't play quite as aggressive anymore. Arteezy is getting fairly tanky, going for a slightly different build on his Lifestealer, opting for the Heaven's Halberd approach. Very much just an item looking to survive against the Clink's damage if he gets RP'd. If he gets hit by an Earth Spirit stun silence combo and he's being pelted away by the Clinks, he wants to just be able to survive it. And this Halberd is an item that's received countless buffs over the recent patches. Still hasn't really been bought all that much. But Arteezy feels like this is the game that it will fit into.
Faceless. What is the plan for them now? I mean, coming out across the map, is it getting to the point where they are going to want to wait for EG to play into their hands and then to look for the counter initiation, or can they still look to go out aggressive?
They want to make sure that if they get jumped, they're going to lose fights. Like if Axe gets the blink call with an infest, that's a dead hero from the get-go. So if you're not going to go aggressive and try and find picks, you can't let, you have to avoid.
Ice. It's just the RP onto one. Will skewer Sumail into the hands of Black, and Sumail, he's out and down. Big way to start the fight here for Faces, but EG all ready to try and set it with the turnaround. They get the cool on to Black. Black trying to get himself away, but a boat hits him smack in the face. Artur looking at Jabs. Jabs, has he got another remnant to go? He has one more, gets himself back up to the high ground. Universe, though, in again with the 2-man call. It's a double kill for the Axe, nearly getting a triple. Two will survive on Faceless, but again, 3 down.
I think it's an all right fight, if not for the fact you lose the gem at the end. The Invoker kill, very nice way to start things off. Even though they lose the Clinks to kill the Invoker, kind of evens things up, but losing your gem, a big deal when you've just bought it. You're at this crucial mid-game stage where Vision, second Roshan's going to be very important, and that's where EG definitely come out on top, as they're going to control that Vision moving forward.
Here we have it again. I mean, as soon as he sees Sumail, I mean, this great bit to start with, getting him into Black's hands.
That Rock trying to save Sumail. You did a really good job pulling him away from the Warlock.
But Universe, of course, always in the right place at the right time here. Setting up for Zai's combo. Nowhere for Black to run and hide. Nuts doing a lot here with the Freezing Field Glimmer Cape. Splitting up the fight. And Jabs very lucky to get away with his life. But once again, Universe, bam. He knows when to go back in.
Yeah, Jabs threw everything to deal with the Warlock, and Warlock had already used his spells, so like you think about what the cause on Faceless did. Clinks, he took out Clinks and Invoker, they like trade lives. Axe goes for the Clinks there, and the other big hero that can get kills for Faceless in a fight like that, when Clinks is taken out for the Invoker, is Ember. And you're like, okay, who's Ember going to go for? He needs to make sure he gets something done. He can't really deal with a life stealer. I guess the Axe was just too far away for him to go in, but killing a Warlock just isn't really justified there for Jabs. He gets a Warlock. He has to then, his team then is kind of stranded. He used all his spells on that Warlock. Very hard for him to get to the Axe. Perhaps he just didn't have the blink available.
Black and Nuts. Toying with Arteezy, as Arteezy has got the superior backup.
Universe with a gem is going to invade. And getting those cliff wards down, knowing that you can't really ward the low ground when you're up against those gems now. We keep the wards and cliffs as much as possible.
Top lane EG looking to take the final tier 2 that's been standing on Faceless half of the map. Faceless in position though to make a push themselves happen. The full 5-man working down this mid lane and will look to force EG back.
Up, but the Warlock Rock on cooldown for a little bit longer. Should be up around the same time though, so maybe another 10-15 seconds until that chaotic offering. But
let's see if, I mean, it's a lot of this, it feels like is on our side to get something big happening with the RP. Universe with his Shadow Blade. Who's he going to find? He will be able to get poor old Nuts once again. The CM will go down, ticking out to the Battle Hunger.
As Roche respawns, but something that was going to be difficult for Faceless to contest, but something they likely would have wanted to based on the fact they've just picked up the BKB on Clinks. This is a key item for him to try and fight with, so we'll see if that changes the state of affairs. He still needs to make sure he doesn't get caught in that Axe call. The Axe, oh boy.
They spotted Black out. Universe.
Blink on cooldown still, so
isn't going to be able to get the chase and catch.
Yeah, the Axe Blink call, if that catches Clinks with a Sunstrike, very likely Black will go down quickly in the fight. They don't have good save on the Faceless side. Perhaps we'll see something like a Yule Scepter picked up just to try and counter the Axe Blade Mail Helix damage. If he gets the call on the Clinks, you just immediately try and Yules him to stop the spin action happening, to stop the Blade Mail damage. But I guess Magnus can theoretically afford that Yules.
EG straight into Roche again. I mean, Faceless well aware that this is happening with the EGT warding the vision out of it and that successful scan.
Can't really move out. It's too tough with the vision factor, and perhaps they've used a few smokes. Not sure if they actually have any smokes available at this stage. So, and if you do, you're probably thinking we might want to save them for high ground. There's the Yule. It's actually going to come on the Earth Spirit, so definitely like the pickup against an Axe, but you've got to be very fast on it and not always going to stop all the damage. It doesn't stop the Sunstrike, for one thing, landing. As we'll see Jabs work on this bottom lane. It's about to level 20, doing very well in the Ember. Not able to keep up with the Invoker or the Lifestealer with their Midases, but still good farm on the Ember Spirit. He's had to play very cautiously against the X-Catch as well.
Yeah, it feels so risky when he comes out for these pushes, Jabs. Yeah. Each time EG sending multiple members there to deal with him and get the catch.
So here, big difference in the carries in terms of farm. Black getting heavily outscaled by the Lifestealer. Here that Clinks was picked up against as a pseudo counter, but if you don't have the farm, you're not going to counter him. He's been a lot more kills, but that's also because Faceless just haven't had as many kills. And when your carry doesn't have to get involved in kills, that's not necessarily a bad thing. If anything, for EG, that's good. If Arteezy can farm and he's not needed to fight, all the better. That means their draft, that means their lanes are working.
EG with the smoke straight into Faceless's jungle. Faceless already backing up. It looks like neither team will be jumped on here. As Faceless is safe in their base.
This Shadow Blade is such a dangerous item for Faceless to deal with on Axe. He's so good at roaming around finding those pickoffs, and here's like Clinks can't rely on the Skeleton Walk for survivability anymore, and Faceless can't buy a gem against it. So until like 5 more minutes go by when they have a new gem, they've got to really stick together and play super defensively anytime Axe is missing from the map. He can probably solo kill the Clinks with a Sunstrike. That's very, very difficult for Faceless to get anything done as a result.
Ice has gone full, and he has the refresher already.
Where's his farm come from? I can't believe he's actually managed to farm that. But yeah, with the Midas and the GPM talent,
it's pretty crazy.
He's actually ridiculously farmed. He spent a lot of time bottom lane split pushing. He was the one that was really the reason for that fast tier 2 going down, and that's some incredible fun. That's the kind of item that can turn this game in Faceless' way. You can, like last fight, he solo RPs the Invoker. He now would have a second RP for the Axe, for example, and then you actually win that fight.
2 different lockdowns, and now he's level 20. Pretty significant, plus 15% on the damage and cleave of the Empower. If they're fighting in this ward as well, there's the jump. Ice, he's grabbed 2 jabs with the damage as well, bringing them down. They've bursted 2 out of the fight already. Looking for the control onto RTZ, but Ice, out of mana, chunked down by Artur. They'll lose the Magnus, but Samael's chased down by XY and Black. They'll turn their attention towards side Faceless. They've found 3 so far. Can they get more? They can. They'll bring down the Admiral. RTZ looking for Black. Skeleton Walk skill still on cooldown for 7 seconds. Black trying to eat a crit to keep alive. Nuts comes in with the Glimmer Cape. Makes sure that Black survives. Black should be fine. He has been disarmed, but he's still got the distance. And RTZ being bullied around here as he goes from target to target and Faceless. Oh, no. They laugh at the poor child. RTZ has been bullied, and Black, oh no, the bully becomes, no, it's fine. The bullying is successful. Poor old Artur.
They can't get him.
Oh no.
He's toggling.
Somebody, oh my goodness, right. They've triggered him now. He's angry. RTZ,
he's going for more.
Out. He's back for vengeance. You bullied me once. Now I'll rip your skin off and eat your flesh as he takes down a double.
Oh, that 4-man stance around
Well, there we have it. A bit of a lesson to the bullies out there. One day that kid will sort you out. But all in all, still, obviously, not too great for EG. They lose a lot, but RTZ surviving, that's got to be worrying for Faceless. You can't kill the carry.
Invoker's got travel, so he can immediately TP to this top push. Got an Aegis. Yeah, that's the big thing here. RTZ can
They've got an RP, though, still.
Yeah.
Second RP.
Did refresh immediately. 100 seconds till that refresher comes back up, but 1 RP likely enough. Probably doesn't want to go for the lifesteal. He wants to make sure he gets like an Invoker or Axe-type hero. Since the lifesteal does have the Aegis, he would happily soak up an RP here. And that's going to be a free tier 3 tower.
Straight here onto the racks here. RTZ.
Someone needs to stop him.
I don't think they're going to be able to before these racks. Melee's down. Faceless. Very, very aware of the power of this lifesteal and out as RTZ has just blossomed that.
Not at least getting the Aegis. When they had him 4-man surrounded, if they just gotten the Aegis, that wouldn't happen because EG probably are not going to go for that high ground push into RP.
Oh, here's the bullying again. I mean, look at it. RTZ tucking and turning, but they're low on mana. These armlet toggles as well.
I think it was a miss from Black as well.
And again, I mean,
he had a low ground miss, but that was just some really nice play from him.
Insane. RTZ has been receiving a little bit of a flame for some of his performances earlier on in this slam, but now stepping it up here on the main stage and showing us the plays that we've come to expect from the kid.
I mean, that right there, you see why Halberd is a good item. It saves his life there. With the disarm as well as the extra evasion kicking in, and something Clinks will have to address with an MKB Bloodthorn type pickup. Does look like, oh yeah, the Orchid into Bloodthorn is going to be the approach this game. I think it may tempt like a Manta build from RTZ to get out of that silence. Not sure what he's going to go for, or perhaps he'll just ask his team, someone buy a Lotus Orb, you know? Someone help me out. Although Lotus Orb's perhaps Kunker's job. He's got the Arcane Boots, can disassemble.
Nice positioning from Faceless.
They've got a good ward for this fight.
There's the jump in, immediate. Taking out one, but Ice is there with the reaction, but the reaction to the reaction as the Warlock Golem is dropped. Nuts trying for the freezing field, but they'll hold him back. Already looking to chase for more. Warlock's been left on the back lines. Crit will go down. This plus 60 damage doing work there for Nuts. Black only just getting himself away under the cover of Skeleton Walk. It's EG, in fact, that are the losers here. They've lost 2. Sunstrike won't connect. Zai looking to try and make this trade better, but there, again's another RP. Ice will set up a third kill for Black to get himself involved in Samael. Oh, he's angry. BKB Pop, he wants this CM. He'll get the CM.
Very hectic fights. Both RPs used may lead to EG trying to press their advantage.
Could Jabs finish this Samael? 1v1 me, son. Here we go. Samael will gladly accept the challenge as he turns around, drops a meteor. Jabs has to duke it out. Black.
Oh, Samael in trouble. He's got to blink.
Can he clean up the kill? And Samael with that out to safety. They search for him in the tree line. He's up towards the left. There's no vision on
Samael's
this.
going back for the kill. Okay, that
Jabs
is
has
a
got the gem. It's a risky kill attempt for Samael, and Samael realizes he's out. He won't play around with fire for too long.
He ran through the clinks, and I think Ember's like, oh, he's over here. Let's go head back that way. But take the regen.
Take that regen, little boy. Happens to Albert. Can he arm the he cannot arm the toggle his way out of that.
You can have the regen. We'll just kill you right out.
The bullies are back.
Oh. That time, they get the job done. Faceless have managed to... It feels similar to the Liquid game in some ways where they're like, yeah there's one carry. Well, this game there's two. That game there was just a Naga, but they make sure all three of their core players go late game. And this seems to be a recipe for success with Faceless. I mean, it always has been with Ice. He's a player when he's got a lot of fun when he's having a good game. Faceless are winning games. They can't just get Black and Jabs fun. They need to have three good late game scaling players. Ice with Refresher on Magnus is the kind of player you want to be seeing in the late game have a huge impact. And for EG, we're not seeing that kind of item progression on the late game Axe. He had a fantastic start. It is just like a two-core lineup. Lifestealer is going to get kited, and things are at least progressing in a way where it doesn't feel like EG have shored up their late game, even with a Rax advantage. They need that next big team fight. Next Roche is going to be crucial for them.
XY, unfortunately for himself, sitting under the ward.
Or is it?
The boat comes through Universe as well with their call just to make sure that they can find him. Can't Faceless do anything in return. Black trying to go in on the Axe, takes a huge amount of the blade over. Ice is there with the RP. He's grabbed Universe, he's caught Samael as well. Black backs up with the skeleton walk. Jab's already coming in from the side, looking to cut off EG. Remnant burst, one, bam, two. He manages to chain it beautifully to pick up the double. And Jabs may not be done yet. Samael isn't going to be chased down.
Beautiful Ember play.
Very nicely done from Jabs. We can see why this is one of the mids that Faceless love to grab their hands on for him. 6-1-6 this game. Nearly having the money pretty much for that Octarine as well.
They've draft around the strength of their players. First stage picking an Ember, the only team in this tournament who really do that at this point in the event, but with good reason with how Jabs has played it and things going Faceless' way in that fight. They commit a lot of heroes for that Earth Spirit. That Yules forces the Axe to blink in for a call. If not for that Yules, Invoker perhaps just solo kills the Earth Spirit. But by getting that full commitment, Clinks is able to get the return kill on the Axe. He slightly mistimed his strafe there. He tried to wait till the blade mail was... I mean, it was where...
Ice. He just refreshes straight up, gets that RP onto Arteezy. The damage just ripping through the Lifestealer and Faceless. Maybe seeing if they can get more. They look towards Samael, but the BKB's
will
out.
wear off. He needs to be careful.
This is just backing off. The Sunstrike, not enough damage. Black survives because he had a hearty meal just before that fight.
That was such a well-played Sunstrike, and Black managing to barely survive. That is, I mean, Sumail's playing a hell of a game. He's doing everything he can. They want
to secure
Roche. Yeah.
Okay.
So they want to try and secure Roche while RP is down. They know RP was just used. Roche is up. They basically trade the buyback for having an Aegis on Lifestealer here, which is basically like, well, either way, you've got a second life on Lifestealer. The difference is your opponents don't get the Aegis. If Faceless got the Aegis, you could find yourselves in some trouble, and Faceless aren't even going to contest this. They're like, we haven't got RP. We've just chewed through a lot of our spells. Black is still pretty low. No way can we stop Roche from happening. So I like that buyback. It gets Arteezy a guaranteed Aegis and negates the fact that he doesn't have buyback because of that.
And as you said, they didn't have the RP for the Roche, and they're not going to have RP for the high ground defense. Still about, what, 40 seconds, I believe, at least on that Magnus RP.
Jabs is approaching level 25, though. See what he can do. The Refresher being in the back.
Well, sometimes you don't need RP if you can hit the skewer, but Ice won't quite get it onto Artur.
He's got the Refresher in the backpack, making it cool down a lot slower on the Magnus. Something that could come into play. I feel like he should try and swap that out, even just for his magic wand, but
it's easy. Looking to man up, disarm onto the Clinks on the sidelines. Universe keeping eyes on Jabs. It's like EG.
Has Jabs got 25? Not yet. That would be a big, big level to get. Although it does look like EG are going to back off for a little bit, go for the Shrine, so that will perhaps give Jabs the room to hit that crucial level 25. Likely going for the cooldown reduction. You're against a Lifestealer who can easily get out of the Searing Chains, and we're seeing teams just get a lot of like Lotus Orbs and stuff against the Searing Chains if need be, so I feel like the cooldown reduction is more likely going to be the way he approaches this game. Axe TPing top. Didn't bring the Lifestealer, so I don't think he finds his kill.
Tries for the call, but Jabs again.
He's out.
I mean, a little coincidental that juke, but it worked.
He got rid of the gem then, or is it still on the Ember? Oh yeah, he doesn't have the gem anymore. That was a bit coincidental, but he'll take it.
Mid lane, Arteezy.
Can
Be
they
careful
get the free
here.
Aegis?
They may be able to kill him once here, but the Bloodthorn damage is enough. He's down once. That's the Aegis gone, and now we're in that 5 minutes.
He's got no
You've
buyback.
got to be careful. You've got to be careful if you're Arto. Ice has an RP as well. Arteezy, he better run. The Hex is there. They go for the bait. They catch out Ice. The Magnus is out and down. 85 seconds, no buyback. And now EG, Luna combo for more. They've got the Tornado onto XY. Earth Spirit's out. Battle Hunger onto Nuts. They jump in from Jabs. He's looking to try and clean up in return, but now he's surrounded. The disarm from Arto. The bash as well. Jabs is out. Sumail again. The second Tornado. Now looking for Black. Hexed up. Arteezy ready to close in. The buyback's coming out. Jabs buying back into the fight. Black will survive. Nuts goes for the freezing field, but immediate use there from EG as they take CM out. EG, they're not done yet. Universe seeing if he could have the potential to catch more. Black on the side.
What a clutch Hex onto the Magnus. They baited that so incredibly well. They saw Ice coming in, looking for the RP on the Lifestealer to try and seal the deal on a dieback, but just wasn't able to anticipate, perhaps not even seeing the Hex pick up just yet. Completely blindsiding him, and with that, EG find themselves with a big lead here and perhaps able to take a second lane of racks. They'll buy some time with the Glyph, and Arteezy still does need to be careful against the Bloodthorn. Universe is fishing.
15
Wants to find a
seconds for
catch.
that Magnus. They've got to get something done before Ice is back. Arteezy straight in with the Rage. The Hedge Universe on the back lines, catching out Black on the Clinks. The Clinks is out, buys back immediately. XY is down. 80 seconds without the Earth Spirit, and at the same time, on the back, crit was gone on by Jabs, but Jabs couldn't quite finish the job as he has to back up. They've lost the melee Rex in the middle lane, and EG getting a lot done as they continue to just amp up the pressure ever since that Arteezy buyback and making sure that they find these objectives.
Preemptive spell use paying off. We saw it at top where the Ember, he just remnants away before the Axe calls, and we saw it at mid with the pre-Hex before the Blink, and we see it there. Arteezy just rages. He knows that he might get jumped by an Earth Spirit. Earth Spirit blinks as he rages, tried to just get like a stunned silence off. Perhaps they kill him. I don't think they do, but it would at least stop him hitting the racks. And it baits the entire team. Earth Spirit suddenly finds himself right on top of a raged lifesteal. That is the worst possible position for him to be. And as a result, we'll see another melee racks going down. Faceless will have to play from behind. They have got the double RP in the late game to do so with Ember Spirit. Fantastic late game hero as well, but on the Radiant side, that Hex catch, we've seen how effective it can be. Not to mention the fact that Sumail's Invoker has just been phenomenal this game.
And here we go, EG. Now with the strong position by quite a mile. 2 minutes only left on Arteezy's cooldown. The buyback over on the side of Faceless, as we can see. Black, Jabs, and XY still having at least 4 minutes to wait. If they go down in this window, it could be all over for Faceless here in this game one.
It seems something that EG want to play around without forcing it too much. They have to be wary of their Lifestealer, who doesn't have buyback for a much smaller window, though.
So it's nearly there. It's nearly there.
They can look to wait that out and then try and jump onto Faceless, but fighting near the Faceless base is always going to be very difficult.
Faceless, they don't care that their buyback's on cooldown. They want to go for something big. They smoke out. But EG have this high ground advantage.
Go on to.
XY's been spotted by this ward. EG know that something's up. Jabs will get the jump in. Finds one within Ice. Immediately comes in with two. They've managed to catch out the two backline supports. They'll take one. Universe coming in with the reaction, but the second RP is there to hold back the Axe. Sumail gets taken down. Black had just too much damage. They'll turn towards Universe, and Faceless with that movement, with that play. Once again, Artur, the last man surviving, is out as well as Faceless. Team White EG. A massive, massive fight there. and an incredible, we saw that they, EG saw XY, but as soon as they saw him jabs in immediately with a slight, and then the Ice just blindly going in, knows that he's going to get multiple heroes.
Ice Dota. He missed the second RP onto the Lifestealer with the axe. He went for 2, but even so, he got the initial start.
And look at this damage from Black.
Black finding Sumail. That's the other key thing is there. Sumail didn't have the support to fight into Black. Black's BKB was just used to snipe the Invoker. Invoker without, I don't think he has a Shivers guard or anything like that because he went for this Hex, so he doesn't have much armor to fight against the Clinks, and he melts to that physical damage. Yeah, we see he's got the plate mail in his backpack. He's now going back for the Shivers. He recognizes what's crushing him in these fights, and it's that single target damage output.
Let's see what they can get done though. 10 seconds and RTZ will have buyback available.
Well, I'm not sure if you want to use Invoker buyback at this point. You may just give up a lane of racks, but they'll use the Lifestealer one, trying to hold
jabs.
on. Oh,
straight in deep here, looking for crit. Getting himself back out, just creating space to make sure the Faceless can finish off the racks in the middle. Black not messing around, just BKBs and runs out. They don't get the range. They bring it down to pretty much dead, but they get that melee racks that they were after and force out RTZ's buyback.
Yeah, good calls on both sides. If you don't buy back like the Lifestealer there, they can use that window with 3 heroes dead to do some, perhaps get a second lane of racks. And by buying back the Lifestealer, Faceless can't commit as many heroes, and they're able to preserve the Invoker buyback as well as the Axe buyback.
Ice, as we can see, not only been having just a great game today, yesterday as well, pulling out some massive plays for Faceless.
This Lincoln's will help a lot against that counter initiation we've seen from the Hex. Not going to be quite the same solution. What's he got? The minus 35 respawn time?
Oh, you got to take that, surely. That's so good.
No, not much thought into that one.
Yeah.
And
EG again looking to fight around this spot.
Be so careful. Dire have maintained some decent vision around that area. They can try and pop these smokes with either an invis or a blink hero and then use that vision advantage. And they know EG's there. They saw that ward get planted, so they know they were on that left side of the cliff and likely smoked up.
Roshan would be lovely for EG.
This is the minimum respawn time now, so Faceless only now have to start worrying about Roche, and they're probably like, all right, surely it's going to be at least like a minute till Roche. It's one of those things where in your head, you normally wait like 30 seconds to a minute before you go push out and check out Roche, but it will be a very fast respawn.
Straight up, there we have it.
That definitely helps EG. They're kind of already in position. They've got one decent ward in the area. Very hard to maintain vision against Gem, and all of Faceless's vision was set up for that last fight, so they've got nothing around this Roche pit. How scared EG are right now just depends on whether they think Faceless have a smoke, among other factors. And it looks like Universe is going to be in charge of trying to scout out any incoming smoke ganks.
And looks like they should get this. Huge, of course. Again, a bit of a repeat of the portion of the game we saw, about 10 minutes ago, where we have this RTZ's buyback on cooldown for a fair few minutes still, but they get themselves the Aegis. Last time they had that, they were able to, get away with the melee racks in the middle lane that they took down. Maybe we'll see a repeat towards the bottom lane, and that's going to push, of course, Faceless closer and closer to being mega creeped.
See how they respond to this one on the Faceless side. May have to start considering just RPing that Lifestealer, even though he's got an Aegis. If he goes onto the high ground and just starts rage hitting your buildings, you can't just let them get mega creeps without contesting, so.
I mean, that is the nice thing about Ice this game. We are seeing a Magnus that he's not waiting for the flashiest of RPs. He goes in immediately, Sumail or even just the supports on the backline. He knows that as long as they're the team that gets the jump, there's a high chance that the fight overall will go their way.
Last time he took out the 2 supports, and because of that, Invoker was a free kill for Black. Black was able to isolate Invoker. There was no Axe Call, there was no Kunkka Ghost Ship, there was no Warlock Rock. Probably most importantly, no Warlock Rock. Warlock was positioned in fogged in the trees, but he got scouted by a beautiful sleight of fist from the Ember Spirit. That chains onto the Warlock really set up Faceless perfectly, but Faceless need more of that. They're still on the back foot. They're still up against Aegis Cheese, and EG still have all the tools they need to try and break high ground. It's just going to be how they play around the Magnus RP and how they manage to make sure that these supports don't get caught on the back lines, for example. Interesting, Crit has the cheese. Perhaps just, I mean, the other, like the cores don't have many item slots for it more than anything. and perhaps thinking that he might get caught in like a spell and be able to survive like a Ember combo if he has cheese. You cheese up against the Ember to guarantee you get your rock off.
EG looking to get the ward down. They are underneath the eyes here. On Faceless, eyes again, jumping in. He's grabbed the 2 supports, refreshes. It looks like he's waiting, holding back for the second one to follow through. It's actually at the front of it all. The Samaels have found Jabs. Jabs low, there's your second RP. Again, eyes, looking for the lockdown. Universe is in with the counterplay. Gets the call off onto Ice from the sideline. Black trying to bring down Arteezy, but he hasn't quite got enough damage to do so. This time, EG, they'll turn towards Black. The Battle Hunger should indeed take him down, and he's out. No Black for 2 minutes. This is EG this time round claiming the superior fight. They just looked a little awkward. We saw Ice get the RP onto the 2 supports, but then it just seemed like he realized his damage dealers weren't there. He was focused on the fact that up towards the top, Jabs was having his work cut out by the rest of the side.
Yeah, he held off on the second RP, I think, recognizing that his cores weren't there to dish out damage, so I think it was the right call, but the problem was the fact you went for that first RP and your cores weren't on top of them. And Ember getting controlled there by Sumail, really deciding things, and now the Klink's bite, it looked like it just came back up. Klink's is back, Magnus is not, and they also know Magnus doesn't have RP, so even if Magnus respawns, he won't have that RP for at least a good minute or so.
An incredibly disjointed fight there from Faceless, heavily costing them. EG still with that Aegis on Arteezy as well. Black alone, as we saw, just not enough damage to cut through this lifestealer at this stage. As they'll find the racks, EG only needing to take that one from the mid and claim those megas.
They just go for it with the Rage, knowing that there's a window still with RP on cooldown. Back up in 35. Feels like they can just walk in Rage and take it for free. There's no real response there. Maybe just comes down to whether or not they're quite wary of the exact cooldown of that RP. Even without the Rage lifesteal, they can just send forward Spirit Siren and just chip away on this one. Yeah, Arteezy is just likely going to try and Rage from the low ground. He's actually being X'd even. Very safe play.
And he goes, and that will be the final racks. They're gone. Mega creeps out now for EG. She faces, they do have the empowerment so to help push these lanes back out, but it's not an ideal position for them to be in whatsoever as EG, after a bit of a rocky kind of late game, getting themselves back in firm control and certainly looking to be the side to take this game.
Daedalus Ember Spirit coming out, so has transitioned into the physical damage. I was about to say, is it time for the Rapier? We'll get the Daedalus first, and then likely, if time goes on, he'll love a Rapier, but he's not going to have money for that anytime soon without a team fight victory or two, so we'll see if he can get there. Likely at that point of the game where you just say, let's replace this Veil, get Rapiers, and hope for the best, but it's EG in firm control. Likely to shore up perhaps even another Roshan before they try and take any kind of a risky fight in the enemy base. If Faceless try and leave the base, then yeah, you take those pickoffs that you can. Axe is going to be fishing around. Same for the Invoker with the Scythe of Vice. Find the pickoffs where possible, and Jabs is definitely a good target. Hasn't got the Lincoln Sphere. That was kind of maybe his downfall in that last fight. He got hexed up and controlled, and as a result, didn't dish out any damage onto the RP targets. It was hard to fully tell what happened in that fight because it really was 2 different fights.
It was straight up like by where the tier 2 was and down where the tier 1 would have been.
And if it was 2 fights that were close together, then I think that's okay for Faces, because at least Ember's in the neighborhood. They can try and help him out when the Hex wears off, he can dish out some damage, but it was miles away from the RP. There was not a point of damage dealt in that RP.
Here we have it, EG closing in again around that mid lane. They know that there's still this window if they can take down Black or Jabs. No buybacks for these cores for a good 3 minutes, 4 minutes.
Hard to get out to that secret shop to finish off your Daedalus too if you're Jabs.
They're trying to make the journey now. EG, Universe going to look for the vision here. She goes up towards the high ground. Will be grabbed back. There's your first RP onto Samael. They'll take the Invoker. No, he's still alive. But no, they don't kill him. The BKB comes out. The boat flows through from side. No, Samael still survives. Finally goes down as Jabs gets him out. But the buyback will be there. They've lost the CM. They've lost Ice, who will buy back along with XY. Universe looking to finish off this Jabs Ember Spirit for a second time, and they will. Jabs and Black are out. This is almost certainly GG as Evil Geniuses with these last few fights.
That's got to be it,
execution and just outplay of Faceless. They've done it here in game 1. They will take it 56 minutes in. Quite the game, a game where it looked to be EG having the easy opening, Faceless hitting back hard in the mid game, but at the end of the day, the performance from EG in these team fights was pretty immaculate.
EG stepping up. I think the great thing about this series is just how much both